Well, what we've been loving about lockdown is the fact that we've been given a wonderful opportunity, especially here on Supersport, to hashtag relive some wonderful moments, taking us back in time to some standout sporting moments. We're going to do that right now. We're on Sports on Lockdown with the faces and voices of Supersport. Joining us now, Dwayne DeLocca, commentator. You know him and you've heard his voice. A very well experienced football journalist. Dwayne, good to have you on Sports on Lockdown today.
Thank you, Carol. And before I forget at the end of the interview, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day for tomorrow, and certainly to all the mothers who are watching as well.
Thank you so much, Dwayne. The Cool Cat is back for another round of Sports on Lockdown in a same position that you were in last week, out in the garden, enjoying the fresh air. Hi, William.
Carol, let me take the opportunity and join in the bandwagon and wish you Happy Mother's Day tomorrow. It's definitely going to be very special. But hey, another one again. I'm looking forward, Carol.
Yeah, and today, Dwayne and William, we're going to be reliving some wonderful moments from the Premier Soccer League and looking at some of the greatest African exports from the continent into the PSL that have just added to this wonderful, wonderful history. Dwayne, there's so many names that really stand out. So let's go through some of them. I don't know where to start. Maybe let's start off with Chisa Bama. Dwayne,
oh, one of my favorites. One of my favorites. You know what I loved about Dennis Lotha is the fact that he was such a quiet man, and it was one of those great things when I was talking to one Pirates player and then another Pirates player, another former Pirates player, and they would all say the same thing. They would say Dennis Lotha was this ridiculously quiet man. His teammates almost exclusively said he was so quiet that when he actually spoke, it was an occasion. So everybody listened so intently, and sometimes they'd be worried because it was only really when things were going a little wrong that Dennis Lotha would speak up. But on the field, his dedication to the game was ridiculous. His work ethic and his humility were amazing, both on and off the pitch, and scored some incredible goals. I love that you start with Dennis Lotha because he was one of the great foreign strikers that maybe doesn't have the record of some of the other players that we might mention, but certainly with Dennis Lotha, the fact that he was able to score so brilliantly. I remember that 99-2000 season as well, top scorer for not only Orlando Pirates, but in the Premier Soccer League as well. 23 goals across all competitions that season, and only Leslie Magnatella from Orlando Pirates has ever come close to that when he scored 22 goals a few seasons later. But what he achieved in 99-2000 season was remarkable. And I think what made it extra special as well, Carol, was the first ever cup final that I commentated was the 2004 Absa Cup final, and Moroka Swallows were looking to break their 13-year drought against the Manning Rangers side, and Lungisani Ndlela, Samuel Ngubeni and Dennis Lotha were the 3 goal scorers for Swallows on the day under Gavin Hunt as they finally broke that drought and defeated Steve Kompela and Kieran Jordan and Frank Skuman and the like at Manning Rangers.
I just got goosebumps there. William, I mean, there's so many memories of Dennis Lotha because you look at the range of teams that he played for here in South Africa as well.
Indeed. You got to appreciate a man that comes from a great history of strikers from his country. If you go back some years back, the late Godfrey Chitalo, some call him his nickname Yuka. I mean, an outstanding player during his time. King Kalu, I'm talking Kalusha Bwalia. Also, striker Sailed, who played in the 1994 Cup final against Nigeria in Tunisia. I'm talking about the Nations Cup. And the history just goes on. The Johnson, Bwalia as well. And these are great strikers that come from that part of the country. So if you come from Zambia, you got to live like a Zambian. That is, if you're a striker, you got to score them like the Zambians do. The Zambians of the past I'm talking about. Certainly, quality all around. Yes, arriving from Switzerland, by the way, before he came down to South Africa, I spent a bit of time in Switzerland and then came to Orlando Pirates. And Chisa Bama is how we usually, or he was popularly known in South Africa because he was just clapping the goals in. And then he went to Amazulu. Remember, they were bound for relegation, Amazulu. Him and the late John Shoes, may his soul rest in peace. And they partnered up, obviously, to be able to help Amazulu survive relegation. But just before he closed this chapter as a soccer player, joined Moroka Swallows. and Gavin Hunt liked them a little bit late, or should I say aging, because he appreciates his experience. But you mentioned there in the locker that he partnered up with Lungisani Nglela. Remember, Lungisani was the taller one, and Dennis Lotto was the shorter one who would sneak in between the holes as a number 10 type of striker. Sometimes they doubled up right at the top of the formation, but quality all round.
Really quality, Dwayne. I mean, because you look at obviously the quality that we possess here in South Africa, you need to be extra special, you know, to be an import and to leave such a mark here in the Premier Soccer League.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's definitely going to go down as one of the great human beings who was in the PSL as well, because he transcended football, I think. And it's so sad to learn of his passing in 2014. It was something that was tragic, absolutely tragic to hear that he had lost his battle after a short illness. But Dennis Lotto on the field of play, I think many who watched him play will never forget, because unlike many strikers today, he would never try to kick the leather off the ball. He would simply place a ball, and whether it was beyond a goalkeeper, over a goalkeeper, under a goalkeeper, through the legs, wide, beyond, short side, didn't matter. His placement was so brilliant, and he could teach so many strikers a thing or two. And unlike many other players, one of the things that he was able to do was to create space. And as William says, I mean, yes, he was short, certainly in comparison to somebody like Lungisani Ndlela. But when you have that natural ability to create space for yourself, you give yourself a little bit of extra time. And the way he was able to do that was astonishing. Just a little step towards the defender would step back, and he would take the ball in his own time and be able to do what he needed to do with the ball. And usually that was, if not score, set up a goal. And just loved that about watching Dennis Lotto. Superb player, wonderful vision off the ball, and somebody who maybe didn't quite achieve everything he wanted to do, but represented Zambia with pride, Pirates with pride, certainly Moroka Swallows with pride, Amazulu beyond that as well. He lived and breathed football.
Yeah, and his memory lives on. William, you're going to like this. So we're going from a striker to a goalkeeper. Kennedy Mwene.
One of the few players, one of the few goalkeepers coming from the COSAFA region that can make a claim that they were able to lift the Nations Cup. And for me, he definitely is one of those few that would have achieved that feat, and still at it as we speak for Mamelodi Sundowns. Once again, he's another goalkeeper that for me didn't have the presence like you'd expect from a goalkeeper, whereby you expect them bigger and taller. And his structure kind of took away what most coaches will prefer as a goalkeeper. Let me tell you the story. Just before he commanded the #1 spot as a national team goalkeeper in Zambia, he was also compared alongside Khalil Low, the other goalkeeper for the national team who later played for Golden Arrows. And because Khalil was bigger, he was more preferred. But unfortunately, none of them were well established at the time. So they were kept changing and giving this one a chance, up until Mwene grabbed the opportunity. But of course, you talk about Mwene, another goalkeeper that will have commanded that position was Davis Phiri. He also ended up here in South Africa. But before him, Effort Chabala, who obviously died in that crash, that tragic crash with the national team. I'm talking, these are goalkeepers who obviously, even up to now, still holds a very big place in the hearts of many Zambians. And quality, once again for me, for a goalkeeper to go on and achieve what he has achieved with the height that he has, it shows the quality of the goalkeeper that he is.
Yeah, Dwayne, I mean, he was one of the best goalkeepers, having gotten so many honors and awards, goalkeeper of the season, one of the best, not just in South Africa, but on the African continent. And I think what was astonishing as well is just how faithful he was and how loyal he was to Free State Stars before actually making the move.
Yeah, a real credit to the Mokwenas as well, who decided this is a man who's got talent really early on in his career, and to stick with him, to bring him to South Africa and say, we believe in Kennedy Mwene. And certainly he was able to achieve remarkable things, not only for Free State Stars, but subsequently for Sundowns, and most notably, of course, for Zambia. And I think what's incredible is you take a look at, I mean, not only did he win the Africa Cup of Nations title, I have to take you to a story on that in a moment, but but he won the CAF Champions League with Mamelodi Sundowns as well. And there are very few players outside of North Africa who can claim to have won the continental crowns, both at club level and at full international level. And that is simply a sensational achievement on its own. I mean, yes, Sundowns winning the 2016 Champions League was one thing, but to have added it to a CV that was already glittering and decorated is simply sensational. 4 league titles with Mamelodi Sundowns, a couple of Telkom knockout titles, a Nedbank Cup as well for him. But he was a man who could produce heroics. And I think as well, we should not forget that he's a man who was also a goal-scoring goalkeeper, and he was able to slot a fair number of penalties, over a dozen in regulation play in his career for both Free State Stars, Mamelodi Sundowns, and indeed for Zambia as well. But if you think about it, William mentioned the air disaster, 93 Zambia air disaster, in which 18 players died so tragically off the coast of Gabon. You go back to the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations final against Cote d'Ivoire with Kolo Touré, Yaya Touré, with Didier Drogba. It's some of the best players in the world standing on the pitch in front of you for 120 minutes. They didn't manage to score beyond Kennedy when it goes to penalties. And remember, it was this perfect run. 5-4 it was at one stage. And who takes the ball when Cote d'Ivoire is leading 5-4 in the penalty shootout? Kennedy Mwene steps up, smashes home a really cheeky penalty against Koba Barry, the Ivorian keeper, who was the first player. He nods at him in acknowledgement. And I still remember he walks up to him and he congratulated Kennedy Mwene. Then he steps up and makes that save to deny Kolo Touré, and eventually Zambia are crowned champions. He's legendary, certainly in Zambia, and I think in South Africa, one of the great contributors to South Africans football. Loads of trophies with the club, over 120 international caps. This is a man who's contributed significantly to the quality of football in South Africa.
And still continues to do that. How difficult is it to arrive in the Premier Soccer League, ply your trade for a team that's relatively out of the spotlight, that's not really that much in the spotlight, and then you have a player who performs so well that everyone else really starts to take notice? Platinum Stars, Muhakolodi Ngele from Township Rollers in Botswana, Dwayne.
Oh yes. I when somebody asked me to talk about my favorite memories of hat tricks, the first one that came to mind was that incredible hat trick that Ngele scored for Platinum Stars against Orlando Pirates back in April 2015, towards the end of the season, Absa Premiership season 2014-2015. Here's a guy who steps up, and what made it so spectacular was Ngele had spent much of the season warming the bench under Alan Freeze. Suddenly, Kevin Johnson comes in. Kevin Johnson's second match in charge. He gives Ngele a chance to start against Orlando Pirates. And what does Ngele do? Smashes one home from a long way out, a grass cutter that goes beyond Brighton Klongo, tucks into the bottom corner. And then you see this fluctuation shift in this match. It was a brilliant match. And Paul Makola then equalized. And then with Pirates thinking, with Makola's equalizer coming 45 minutes into the game, they thought they've got the 1-1 scoreline. What happens? Muhakolodi Ngele, free kick just over 20 meters from goal, boom. And unlike going to the near post, which he normally does, he goes beyond Brighton and Klongo to the back post. 2-1, Platinum Stars are leading at half-time. Quite remarkable, the psychological blow to Orlando Pirates. Then Manyisa comes out, scores straight after the restart. Now, what does Ngele do? He then chips Siyabonga Mbonjane, who was the reserve goalkeeper, who'd come on after Brighton and Klongo picked up an injury, and scores this hat-trick. Eventually, they drew the game 3-3 because Issa Sarr managed to not home a ball with just minutes remaining in the tie. But the quality of that hat-trick and the fact that all 3 goals came from so far out is remarkable. And that second goal, the free kick, just a reminder of how quality that left boot is when he wants to be. And incidentally, playing for Botswana, he's the only Botswana player, the only Botswana who's ever scored a goal from open play in the Africa Cup of Nations. Botswana have only got 2 goals, incidentally. The other one was Dipsy Suluwane, a penalty in a 6-1 loss to Guinea. But he's the only player who scored from open play in the Africa Cup of Nations. And it took the lead against Mali at the time. They went on to lose the game 2-1. But another player who's got sensational talent and maybe doesn't fit the team ethic of some of the teams that he's played with and never quite made it at some of the clubs. But his potential is unbelievable.
Yeah. William?
Yes. I think you mentioned something that for me is so key that many people might not understand the challenge that comes with coming to South Africa from the so-called smaller countries in the neighboring South Africa, neighboring South Africa, to come and apply their trades in the Absa Premiership. And that on its own, obviously, it's a big challenge for any player to come and make his presence felt in the way that he did. And worse off, to be able to join a smaller team like Platinum Stars at the time, who maybe weren't quite there amongst the so-called big teams. And yet, to be able to achieve the feat that he was able to achieve, winning cups. And how many other smaller teams in the Absa Premiership can win 2 cups in 2 seasons? Not too many. But with Ngele, Platinum Stars were able to achieve that. He wasn't just a parcel in the team, but he was so key. He was playing a major role, scoring key goals in key moments. But I don't think, for me, I've ever seen a player with the sweetest left foot like he does. He's equally just as good with his right. But that left foot, when it comes to set pieces, and in the way that he turns, and you could never tell his true position. I think that's the other skill that he has. He obviously plays as a second striker. He always appears into that attacking third in different positions, always has the intelligence to pick the right moments to enter into that attacking third to be able to finish. That, for me, is the quality that he brings. Not only does he score those key goals, but he's also got an element of a great pass about him. That says a lot. I can imagine it's a little unfortunate if you think that he played for Mamelodi Sundowns and yet didn't shine as he should have, coming from Platinum Stars, where you thought maybe with a galaxy of stars around him, he'll be able to shoot up there amongst them. It didn't happen. For me, that's where I feel like somehow his career was shortchanged. But every now and then you see the quality. Just recently, playing for Black Leopards in Limpopo, we saw him scoring a cracker of a set piece, just to remind us of the quality player that he is.
Yeah,
that he still is.
I just have to say, Carol, I just have to say, William's talking about he's never seen a left foot like that. I think his brother might have something to say to him.
As a crosser, quality
just
cross.
Checking. Just checking.
Yes. Almost got you, William.
Yeah.
From Mozambique, if there was a player who arrived in the Premier Soccer League and won almost everything that there is to win. Wherever he went, there was cups, there was glory, there was honors. Dominguez, William, Elias Pelembe.
Huh. You know what? We are so blessed playing in the, being involved with the Absa Premiership. And sometimes the privilege that maybe I had was to be able to see him even before he crossed over, before he came to South Africa, playing for Desportivo di Maputo, one of the teams. They were black and white, but a very colorful black and white, at the Mashakeni Stadium. Sometimes they played at the Mashava Stadium. One of the older clubs that comes from Maputo, or should I say Mozambique as a country. Yeah. And he featured in the CAF Champions League over a number of times. And he featured also in the COSAFA Castle Cup. That's where I had the privilege to be able to see him on a regular basis. And even from then, but you got to remember, Carol, not too many players with his kind of structure. I'm talking about the physical profile of Pelembe. He's not the biggest. If anything, he's a small player. But you know what?
Diminutive, yeah.
Yes, but what he makes up for his small size is the quickness of his thoughts, in the way that he thinks, on the run, and he positioned himself so well. In fact, I think he grew even better when he arrived at SuperSport, because they obviously brought him as a wide attacking right player. But because of his intelligence, he scored a lot of goals, drifting into the inside, being able to anticipate when the ball was being crossed from the left-hand side. Between him and Dane Clegg, they were unbelievable for SuperSport United. Those 2 championship wins that they won, there were 3 for SuperSport, but I think he was involved in 2 of them alongside Dane Clegg. Fantastic players between those 2. But Pelembe, even better, because he also was able to play as a number 10, very skillful, great passer of the ball, and unbelievable strength. If you talk about the structure of the player, but you couldn't just take that ball away that easily from his feet when he's got it. Incredible.
SuperSport United, Dwayne, Bidvest Wits, Mamelodi Sundowns, 4 Premier League titles with 3 different clubs. Right.
Yeah, that's special in itself, and I think the key that William spoke about there was SuperSport United having Dane Clayton on one wing and Elias Belembe on the other, and they of course did that not only at SuperSport United in those first 2 seasons of Gavin Hunt's triple, but indeed when they reunited at Bidvest Wits, and of course that was the case again. In fact, I mean, you look at Elias Belembe. I have to go back to the story because I've been fortunate enough to play golf with many people in the world of football, and Gavin Hunt is one of those who loves to tell stories when he's on the golf course. And he was talking to us about this player and how he signed him. And he said, he had just joined SuperSport United. Stan Matthews, chairman of the club, comes and says, listen, Gavin, I'm sorry to tell you, but we've had to sell Tekobudise to Orlando Pirates. He's like, I've just joined the club. You've sold our best player. What are you doing? Stan tells him, don't worry. I've got a Mozambican talent who's on trial. And Gavin just throws his toys out the cot. What are you telling me that some kid from Mozambique...
As usual. He always throws his toys all over the place.
and he says, Stan said to him, just take him on a trial. Go and watch him once. Yeah. Gets down to the training field, and he says he came running up to Stan. He's running up. He says, sign him, sign this player. He's unbelievable. And of course, the rest, as they say, is history, because he went on to be named Footballer of the Season as SuperSport United won that 2007-2008 title. Quite remarkable. And Gavin, of course, has a habit of, shall we say, speaking his mind, and sometimes that includes some swear words as well. And apparently, Belembe at the time couldn't speak a word of English other than the 2 words that he had been told that he needed to learn, and that was "thanks, coach." So every time Gavin Hunt would swear at him when he did something wrong or didn't pass it when he should or held on to it too long, Gavin would swear at him and he would say, "Thanks, coach." And of course, they played together at SuperSport United. They rejoined at Bidvest Wits as well. And that was key as well, I think, for Bidvest Wits, because they were there and thereabouts. But when he joined, it took him a season to settle. And then they lost Siso Vilarazi to Mamelodi Sundowns, bear in mind. Yeah. But then they stepped up and won the league title and the MTN 8. And then after that, they won not only the MTN 8, the Telkom knockout the following season. In 18 months, he was part of that team that won 3 trophies in 18 months under Gavin Hunt at Bidvest Wits, a team that had never won the league title, and he was part of that historical run. So take nothing away. Belembe has been a massive influence on so many people.
And
you know what, guys?
If I may add,
yes,
the humility that comes with that greatness, you'll be amazed. You think just because he's been able to achieve so much, he'll go with his head high up there, with his nose so in front. But let me tell you, humility of the highest kind. That is what I like about Belembe, and I wish a lot of players could maybe learn from him.
Yeah, and emulate that. Listen, that's just the start. There's so many other names to come. That's why we want you to tune in next week, all of you that are watching, as we continue to relive and talk about some of the greatest exports from this beautiful African continent that have made such a mark in the Premier Soccer League. William,
is that all?
It's been an absolute pleasure. For today.
Oh, no, I'm disappointed, man.
We're out of time. Hold on. We're out of time. We're going to do it again next week. You see?
Thank you so much,
everyone's going to be watching again next week, and we'll continue this list because, man, oh, man, there have been some unbelievable footballers in this particular league. Dwayne, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Carol. Enjoy your Mother's Day.
Thank you. All right, everyone that's been watching, we know you're loving it. Sport on Lockdown. Don't worry, we're going to be back again next week. So looking forward to joining you and bringing you all of the latest news and continuing this wonderful conversation and being joined by the very best when it comes to the beautiful game. Till then, keep staying safe and we'll see you soon. Au revoir. Adianto.
Looking obviously to try and get ourselves catch up the games that we haven't played, which is important, and then obviously catch up the points as well.
Overall, we gave as good as what they gave us.
Duty, Motupa, that's better. That is stunning. That is a goal of top quality. Tight angle for Gift Motupa.
We have to work, and then we improve the team.
Our approach has always been take it one game at a time.
In towards Mahachin, maybe the back post, it's a
This is something what you have to accept. It's a normal situation. You balance it, you get it balanced over the entire season.
Now, here's a chance! Buenos Aires!
Just in the log now, the gap is just 4 points.
No, all I know is May is too far.